Spirit, keeper of my soul, loving Spirit, I surrender, I let go. Blessed Spirit, keeper of my heart, loving Spirit, into the light, out of the dark. Here we are, walking into the light, never alone. God living inside. Blessed Spirit, keeper of my soul, loving Spirit, I surrender, I let go. I surrender, I am whole. I surrender, I am whole. So there was someone, not the only one, but I'm reminded of someone that knew this blessed Spirit so well that he knew himself. He knew himself in relationship to this Spirit. He knew himself in relationship to himself. He knew himself in relationship to every single person that he met. And he knew that relationship so well that we're still talking about this person well over 2,000 years. And on this day, there's much discussion about the resurrection, this resurrection of this one that knew himself, this blessed Spirit. And this resurrection is a rising up, a raising up, a renewal, this seemingly miraculous moment where everything was changed, and we're still talking about it. Now, for the most part, we tend to talk about him a lot. I want to talk about what he knew and how he moved so that we're still talking about him. This master teacher. What he knew is that the Father and I are one. What he knew was that there is no such thing as separation. There is no such thing as separation There is no such thing as separation from Source, that universal presence, God, Spirit, cosmos, the thing itself, whatever we choose within ourselves to name it, that assist us in claiming it and knowing it and being it. So he knew this so well that there is no separation between it and me, between it and you, between it and us. So much so that millions upon millions upon millions of individualized expressions of this source are still talking about him. Yes? I believe, and what I've come to know as best I can, I still work on it, by the way, as best I can, is that when I know that there are not two things, there's only one. And when I know that that source, because there's only one thing, this source, this presence, this God, this Spirit, when I know there's only one thing, and that's the only thing that's happening, there's been no beginning to it, there shall be no ending to it, and when I know there's only one thing about that, then I know because there's only one thing, I reside in that one thing resides in me, then I know my relationship to it, it's one, and when I know that, I know myself, I've come to know myself, that the kingdom of heaven is within, that the power and the presence is within me, moving through me and moving as me. I begin to walk as he did. And the more that I have those moments in my awakened life as I move through the world with you and with you and with you and with you, and especially the ones that might rub me a little raw or cause me a little edge, or I see something on the news or whatever, the moment that I am reminded that there's only one thing happening, and that thing is within me, that presence is within me, and that is me, I move as me. The I am. That's the only thing he said he is I am. That I am. And what I've come to understand in the short little time, this little speck on a beach of the entire cosmos, is that if we all know this more and more and more, that there is no such thing as separation, then I begin to notice more and more of that. I see more of that showing up. I witness more of that. I'm a part of that, this one thing, moving as this one thing. And then I know that I am not human. I am divine. I am a spiritual body having a spiritual experience, and I live in a spiritual world, and I come to be that I am, that unconditional love. So on this day especially, we collectively, I want you to look for a moment, just a brief flash, silently at one another, and know the I am that is within, the I am that is without, and the I am that is sitting next to you. It is all one thing. Just for a glance, look at the beloved community that is here. You made a choice to be here today, to be resurrected, to raise this thought, to reawaken to that which we each are, this I am. And as we move more and more and more as this, then we know and we get to witness a world that works for everyone and a life that works for me. And if we ever, 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 ever wanted to honor one man that once walked this earth just like we each are, I believe that's how we do it. No separation. And so it is.
With my hands, I break this bread. It needs my heart to make it whole, gathered in with sweet abandon, made with love, it feeds my soul. Let us join in perfect union, communing with the presence, partaking of the essence, human and divine, earth and sun, the two are one. With my hands, I raise this cup, kissed by spirit, a change has come, grown by light and quiet darkness, sweet transformation, let it be done. Let us join in perfect union, communing with the presence, partaking of the essence, human and divine, earth and sun, the two are one. Bread and wine, the gift divine, changes me completely. Power and grace are now embraced. Take hold of me so sweetly. With our hands, we break this bread. With these hands, we raise our cup, altered here from who we've been, forever new and lifted up. Let us join in perfect union, communing with the presence, partaking of the essence, human and divine, earth and sun, the two are one. You
human and divine, earth and sun. The two are one. So we come to the heart of the ancient mystery, the resurrection of life, and the reminder that the life that we live is sourced and supplied by this one. And that we celebrate this in this ancient tradition, in this deep and mystical moment. We celebrate how we are nourished. Everything that we need is supplied. The bread, symbolizing the physical universe, the manifest body of God, the divine presence within all of creation, the infinite substance and supply that is life itself, that breathes us and lives through all of creation, expressing itself, glorified in the beauty and the wonder and the joy of creation. And so we partake of the bread. And as we nourish ourselves with the bread, we are reminded that when we take that bread in, it spreads and nourishes every cell of our bodies. And that ultimately there's a moment where the bread ceases to exist as something separate, because it was never separate in the first place. And so when we partake of the bread, we allow it to symbolize and represent that infinite supply. And we allow that awareness to grow deeply in our souls. And the cup of wine, fed by light and quiet darkness, the grapes are pressed, put into a barrel, and there, in the darkness, after having captured all of that light, something happens, and it's transformed into wine. The wine of the Spirit, the life of the Spirit itself. And when we too drink of the light, and we sit in quiet darkness, we are transformed by the presence that is already within, just as it is within the grape and in the barrel. And transformation happens. And so when we come to drink of the cup, we allow the wine to symbolize this life that is forever flowing, that is the very truth of our being, that is the truth of life itself, that is the truth of the one. And in that miraculous transformation that happens, we remember who we are. And we are transformed from the human awareness, the human identity, into the spiritual truth that is true about each of us. And so today we embark on this ancient ritual, and we invite each of us to simply allow this moment to be a symbol for you, a recognition for you, and perhaps even a moment of mystical awareness that these things that we think are two, the divine and us, spirit and me, God and you, that these things that we think are two, you and me and the earth, these things that we think are two are one.
Gratia plena peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae.
Lainey Bernstein, the epitome of the oneness that we speak about, a lovely Jewish girl singing a Catholic song in a New Thought community. Because we are, in fact, all one, right? We are, in fact, all one. All traditions see some face of the divine presence and have something to teach us, show us, remind us of the truth. And so on Easter, we dive deeply into the Christian faith and the story and the experience of this moment. And of course, in the Easter experience, especially today in the United States, we have the story of the cross and the resurrection, and we have the Easter bunny and eggs. Because we're all one, that's right. But because the symbology and the purpose and the point of the story is the same. Yes? Because what is the point of the story? It is not death, but life. Life. Eternal, immortal, deathless, and changeless life. And so from the deep ancient goddess traditions, we get the fertility symbols of the bunny and the eggs and the chick, of the ever evolving cycle of life, that life is forever unfolding and it is forever renewed. And no matter how dark the winter may have been, no matter how cold, challenging, no matter what disappointment or struggle we have faced, right, the promise is of spring, of life, of renewed life, over and over and over and over again. We are reminded that life is renewed. And it is renewed from life itself, which is, of course, why we share the bread. It is renewed and nourished from life, from creation, from the joy of discovery and the joy of creation. And then we have the Easter tradition from the Christian story and the cross and the resurrection. And in metaphysics, we focus deeply on this profound promise. Not only does life renew itself again and again and again and again, but life is eternal, immortal, deathless, and changeless. And when someone, as Karen spoke about, when someone knows that, at every cell, at every level, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, physically, when one knows that, one does not face death with fear. Because one knows that this body is simply the vessel, the vehicle for life itself, for the one infinite life as it expresses through each of us. And so not only is life eternal on on the level of creation when we think about the cycles and the seasons, but the resurrection is the promise that our life is eternal, that our life is immortal. Oh, not this physical life, but the life that is the I that I am, that is that divine presence, that is the truth of the universal love making itself manifest and incarnating itself as each and every one of us. And that is the promise. That as we know our divinity, we no longer fear death. Now, this is not something that we have to earn. Just as life, the bunnies and the chicks, they don't have to earn the continuation of the cycle of life. The fields of grains, the forests, these do not have to earn life. It is the constant motion of life itself. And so the resurrection is the reminder that this immortality, it's true about us now. It is the truth of your life. It is the truth of who you are. And when we can put aside our fear of death, do you see, we become shining vessels for life itself, for love and peace and joy and connection, and knowing the truth that no matter who we look at or where we look or what we see, that there too is life making itself manifest, and that you are me, and that I am you, and wherever I look in creation, that is the one life making itself manifest. And so when we take of the bread and we drink of the wine, we release the fear so that we can enter fully and completely and joyfully into this life right here, right now, this moment where we get to choose. Will we show up as life, as love, or will we show up as fear? Will we show up as separate? These are the choices that we make every day. And on Easter, we're reminded that there is nothing to fear, nothing to be afraid of. If it's true that there's only one thing happening, if it's true that God is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, whatever we think of as when we use that word, love or the divine or the presence or the force or the matrix or the cosmos, if it is truly omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, all-powerful, all-knowing, and everywhere present, that means no matter what's happening in our life, in the life of those we love, in the life of the news, in the life of the planet, no matter what's happening, we walk in the love of the divine. We can't get outside of it. We can only get outside of it if we believe that we're outside of it. But today, we've celebrated, we have partaken, and we have reminded ourselves that we, all people on the planet, and all beings everywhere, we walk in the love of God.
One life of all, and no other
wonder what that would look like. Every single person on the planet walking as the love of God. Now, just feel that. Walking as the love of God. We teach that as we know what that is within us, and we have conviction of that, and we have faith of that, meaning anything unlike it is impossible. If we believe that, and it's done unto us as we believe, and then we add that, what Ernest Holmes and I like to say, that fire in the belly. You know that fire in the belly? You sure? Okay. Now, so you got this. Walk as the love of God. But on this day, the day that they're going to talk about for 2,000 more years, because it started right here. It's one thing to walk as the love of God. It's quite a different thing, I think, to walk as the love, as God. As God, as Spirit, as the power, as the presence. What I know to be true, that when we each walk as that, as we be that, especially when it's right in our face. It maybe someone's telling us it's in our bones and there's some dis-ease, or a loved one is about to transition, or the job is lost, or we're watching yet something else, right, on the news that happened even today. As we walk as that power and presence, as that love, I'm telling you, I know it. I know it. I've seen it. I've experienced it. It changed my life. Nothing, no thing can stand before it. Nothing. Love is the greatest power there is. And today we drop the love of power and pick up the power of love. And walk as that power. And if we see anything unlike that, we call it out. We resurrect that moment right then. We reawaken to something else in that moment. And we can call it out. We can speak it out. We can march it out. We can be that in our own lives. And the lives of every single one around us, because that's our life too. And I know that's what this day is about. The power of love, the presence, walking as God. So I'm going to invite Scott to do some magic. And Jonathan, if you want to join him, it's okay. We're going to take this home through the power of the word of love. And so I invite you to go within with me. If you feel moved, you can hold somebody's hand. If you don't, it's okay. But know that power as God, that power as love, it's the greatest power there is. Its sweep is irresistible. That love has been here through all creation. It's going to be here after we drop our bodies, which means we are that love. Therefore, we cannot die. We're just letting go of this one and taking up whatever else. I didn't get a postcard, so I don't know. But I know about this power of love. And this love leaves no thing and no one out. It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter our age. It doesn't matter if we have a religion, if we don't have a religion, if we don't even believe in something called God. It doesn't matter who we sleep with. It doesn't matter who we vote with. It doesn't matter where we live. It doesn't matter if we're even on this planet. It doesn't matter. What matters is that there is one power, there is one love, there is one presence, and that's the only thing there is. And I don't know about you, but I came to be that, so I am that I am. And as I know that I am, I surely know that you are too. And so I'm standing in that recognition, in that awareness. And then we realize and we awaken to who we are on this day. And if we do it right now, we're the tipping point. So we tip it to love. The meter just went from hate to love all the way over. We say, not on our watch. God doesn't do this on its watch. And we've been watching long enough. So I'm going to be that. Are you with me? We're going to be that power. We're going to be that presence. We're going to be that peace. We're going to be that abundance. We're going to be that wholeness. We're going to be that love. And as these words are spoken, I know that there is a universal law that knows how to do this. Thank goodness I don't. But it does. And I have full faith and trust. I have full belief that when I say, as he did, get up and walk, Lazarus come out, there it is. So the power and the presence of love is in humanity. We bring the unity through that which we are, the divine presence showing up, made manifest as an individualized soul, and we get to be that, we get to live that, we joyfully express that, we abundantly receive it, and we share it, we claim it, and we name it. And on this Easter day in 2019, things changed. Because I changed. Are you with me? Are you changed? Because we are the presence. We are the body. We are the blood. We are the water. We are the air. We are Gaia. We are each other. We are one and the same. We are that power of love. And so I release this knowing that this is so. I call it done. And I live from this place in expectancy. And so it is.